There's something fascinating about meditation. Even when your thoughts slow to a trickle or vanish completely, something remains, a quiet sense of me. But what is that me? And is it even real? The mind, clever but limited, tries to define something infinite, this awareness we all are. It's like looking at a reflection in the mirror and thinking, that's me. But what if that reflection is only a fraction of the truth? When you start exploring this me, questioning it, and shifting your attention to the awareness behind it, something profound happens. You realize the me isn't wrong, it's just a tiny part of the story. And beyond it, there's something vast, something free. Here's a question that can shift everything. Who is the mind talking to? Seriously, pause for a moment. The mind runs a constant dialogue. It comments, worries, plans. But who is it speaking to? The voice feels personal, like it's addressing someone. But who, exactly, is listening? Most of us assume this I is real, that there's a thinker behind the thoughts, a solid self at the core of all experience. But have you ever actually found this me? Or is it just another thought, one that's been there so long we never stop to question it? Let's break this down. Life is a continuous flow of experiences, sensations, emotions, thoughts. They rise and fall like waves on an ocean. One moment there's happiness, then sadness. A childhood memory surfaces, then a thought about dinner, then an itch on your arm. It's all fleeting, always changing, but something witnesses all of it. Something is aware of every passing wave. And here's the crucial part. You are not the waves. You are the ocean. You are the awareness in which all of this happens. Your thoughts say, I'm thinking. Your body says, I exist. But who is aware of these thoughts and sensations? See, the mind is a storyteller. It strings together memories, beliefs, and emotions to create a self, a separate me that feels solid and unchanging. But if you investigate, you'll find that this me isn't a fixed thing. It's just a collection of thoughts, a mental construct. And here's where things get wild. The mind talks to itself. It produces thoughts, and then more thoughts arise to respond. A voice comments, analyses, and argues, creating the illusion of a conversation. But in reality, no one is there, listening. It's like a movie playing with no audience. The mind creates an identity, and then that identity reacts to its own thoughts. It's a loop. But you, the real you, are not in that loop. You are the silent witness to it all. So why does this illusion of self feel so real? Because it's built on something fundamental, awareness itself, the simple sense of I am, this raw feeling of existence, before any labels, before any identity, is always present. But the mind grabs onto it, wraps a story around it and says, that's me. And this is where we get trapped. Instead of resting in pure awareness, we become tangled in the idea of self. We believe we are our thoughts, our emotions, our past. But these are just layers, added by the mind over time. So what happens when we turn our attention away from the mental story and toward awareness itself? We start to see the truth. The I the mind creates is an illusion. The mind borrows the feeling of awareness and turns it into a separate self. But that concept isn't who you truly are. You are the vast, open space in which all thoughts arise and dissolve. Let's try something right now. Assume I am not the thinker of my thoughts. I am the awareness of those thoughts. Notice how thoughts come and go. A memory appears. Who sees it? A sensation arises. Who is aware of it? The mind claims ownership, but does the witnessing presence itself ever claim anything? Number. It just observes. If you look deeply enough, you'll see that the I you've identified with is just another thought, a habit, a mental construct that seems real until you investigate it. Here's something to reflect on. The mind doesn't want to see this. One of its greatest tricks is pretending it wants freedom. It complains about its own chatter, longs for peace, says I want to be free. But even that desire, it's just another thought. To see through this, try catching the mind in action. The next time you think, I'm tired of thinking, ask, who is tired of thinking? Each time you'll find no real entity, only the witnessing of a thought about freedom. And that witnessing, that's you. Pure witnessing is effortless. Thoughts come and go, feelings rise and fall, and yet you remain silent, unshaken, watching. When this realization deepens, something shifts. Life no longer feels like a battle against the mind. You stop trying to force silence or control thoughts. Instead, you rest in the recognition that thoughts arise and fall naturally, without a thinker behind them, and life becomes lighter. Freed from the illusion of a separate self, you move with clarity and ease. The presence that you've always been begins to shine through. So, here's something to take with you. The question, who is the mind talking to, isn't just a passing thought. It's a door to something beyond the mind's endless chatter. Keep asking, keep observing, and let yourself rest in the truth. The mind talks, but it talks to itself. And you are the silent witness, beyond words, beyond thought, eternal and free.